I'm going to do that again. Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you to our musicians in our sanctuary. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Throughout the month of February, we are all participating on Zoom, and we certainly hope that's going to change for us next month. I'm the Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry. I'm joined today by Mary Gibb, our service associate, Tad Coriath, Clara Kelly, Amy Austin, and Mary Stagpole are in the sanctuary providing that beautiful music. And then there's also members of the fellowship choir providing music, which you'll see on video. And of course, we have our AV techs who help everything run smoothly. Herb Axe, Deborah Mensch, and Karen Griglack. As I say the welcome words today, I invite you to shift into gallery mode if you haven't already done so. Oh, I'm going to turn that. That might help. I've been told I'm echoey. Is that better? I'm just going to check. No. I have my original sound off. I'm sorry for the technical glitch. I have my original sound off, as I believe it should be right now. I'm going to just keep going and hope that it's not too much of a distraction. And my apologies for whatever's going on technically right now. So as I say our welcome words today, I invite you to shift into gallery mode if you haven't already done so, and scroll through the screens so you can experience the lovely diversity of this congregation. You are all welcome here today. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. With all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. And no matter how long you are away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Whether you come today with laughter in your heart or with tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today. This congregation is committed to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice making, and we have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. And each week we also acknowledge the land surrounding us is the stolen territory of the Arapaho people, and that many tribes roamed freely on this land for millennia before the arrival of white settlers. We as a congregation and as individuals commit ourselves to anti-racism and anti-oppression work within and beyond our congregation. If you're new here, we are so glad you found us and hope that in this virtual community, even here, you can experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Each Sunday is different, so please give us a few times, come back a few times to really get to know us. If you want to get better connected, there's information in the chat window for you, the first time visitors page and an email address for our office manager extraordinaire, Carol Pranchke. And if you're not receiving connections weekly already, please do sign up for that in the chat. Sign up at the last link in the chat. This is a low traffic email list and it's a great place to get news, but also for signing up for in-person seating for future services when we'll have to do reservations because of COVID. And finally, if any new visitors would like to introduce yourselves in the chat, please do, because we love to get to know who is among us. Today is the kickoff for our annual pledge drive. So I hope those of you who are members and friends have received your pledge brochure in the mail by now. This year, we're inviting everyone into the conversation about our theme, Community Rising, Nourish, Deepen, Connect. And following today's service, our treasurer, Doug Schmidt, will share a presentation on our finance and the importance of pledging. And now, if you have a chalice at home, you can light it with me as I light our fellowship chalice. And so we know where all of our chalices are. Please write in the chat, chalice lit in, and the name of your town. And you can say the words along with me. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. Did it go up? No, it didn't go up. You want to use the other? There we go. Thank you, Mary. And now I'll sing our bowl again and invite you to take this moment of silence to center yourself for the service. Oh my goodness, I'm missing what I need. And I'm going to do that one again too.
Speak the words along at home, if you like. They're in the chat. We Need One Another by George Odell.
We need one another when we mourn and want comfort.
We need one another when we are in trouble and are afraid.
We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again.
We need one another when we strive to accomplish some great purpose and realize we cannot do it alone.
We need one another in the hour of our success, when we look for someone to share triumphs.
We need one another in the hour of defeat, when with encouragement we try to endure.
We need one another when we come to die and seek gentle hands to prepare us for the journey.
All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us.
For all that is our life. This is the hymn we will sing together. And recently in my life, I had almost forgotten that loss is a part of life. And it is important to remember that each piece is only a part, and that while it may feel impossible to give thanks and praise for losses, a home, a marriage, a pet, a loved one, a job, I can give thanks for all my life together. And that is one of the ways I will rise with the support of this beloved community. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its reward of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks.
It looks like we lost much of that beautiful song. So I imagine our tech crew is scrambling in the background trying to figure this out. And so I invite you all to just hang tight and realize we're all doing the best we can over here. And it may just be a glitchier morning than we anticipate. So I so wish we could all be in person and not be dealing with this sort of glitch in the middle of everything. So. I have been told by Herb that we're good to go. So I'm going to invite, now I don't know if we want to do the song over again. Where's Tad?
About half? I think we're okay. Yeah.
Oh, we're getting requests for the song.
Okay, there we go. And a one, and a two. Yeah, let's start at the beginning. Ask, did they hear Amy's intro? Did they hear the intro? Okay, here we go. Ready?
One more time. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build a common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new things we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Thank you so much. This is why I love this community. We can turn really fast and make something beautiful happen. I say my thankfuls to myself most mornings, and before I fall asleep, It's a practice that has become more and more important to me over the last few years. And this community, BVUUF, is near the top of my list. I grew up in a large extended family of 56 people, ranging from grandparents born around 1880 to my youngest cousins born in 1955. And until my busy teen years, I saw many of them at least once a week. That was my first community, a raucous, loving, opinionated group of people who thrived on long discussions and breaking bread together. I felt loved and protected. Over the years, family gatherings dwindled as people's lives changed. I went off to college and came home only for important occasions to catch up with everyone. I married and left the area. Young and in love, my husband and our 4 cats were all the community I needed. 7 years and 3 cross-country moves later, living in a small Central Plains town, I needed more. I knew I couldn't recreate my childhood, but I yearned for a community to share the years with. One day, we traveled a long distance to the nearest Unitarian Universalist Society. I was very obviously pregnant and right away was asked to join the moms group, which supported me through the birth of my second child and the mothering of 2 young children. Since that time, exactly 45 years ago, I have been part of Unitarian Universalist communities. As a member of the UU Church of Boulder, I first came to visit BVUUF when we met at the Masonic Lodge in Boulder to attend the after-service forums. Over the years, I came to know more about the fellowship through relationships with fellowship members in our collaborative activities with the Boulder County AIDS Project, the on-campus ministry, PRISM, UU teen programs, participating in choir events, and attending concerts here in this building. "12 years ago, Paul and I began attending services, and after a year of observation, we became active members. I was on the visioning committee that began the path to the construction of our stunning building. It seemed next to impossible to include all that we wanted to see. And when I look back at that journey and what this congregation contributed in time, skill, and money, I am filled with immense gratitude. When our leadership realized the importance of keeping us connected while we were meeting in another location, our congregation took steps to keep everyone in the loop. When our building was finished, but we couldn't move in due to the pandemic, those connections carried us through in our isolation. Generous people and amazing staff stepped up to the plate to create spiritually deepening Sunday services and to keep activities going as much as was possible. And now we have this gorgeous campus with a stunning building, a creative playground, and carefully chosen landscaping as we take baby steps to safely fulfill our purpose as a center for spiritual exploration and justice making. And here I am in front of you to tell you that I can't imagine what my life would have been like the last few years without this community. When disaster hit close by 4 times in the last decade, BVUUF sprung into action to reach out to those who were affected and provided an anchor in these difficult times. I learned over and over that we are not only the walls that surround us, but a nourishing and deepening community of amazingly caring people. I hope you feel the same way and will continue to provide your generous support to sustain and continue our beautiful fellowship.
She showed up unexpectedly on a chilly December day. Jessica invited her into the sanctuary and let me know she was there. Yet another school shooting, this one in Michigan, sent her into despair. That, of course, on top of the pandemic, an epidemic of random mass shootings, the ongoing news of unarmed Black bodies being shot by police, the climate crisis, political turmoil, you know the list. Perhaps you've been there too in these past few years, those moments when it all feels like just too much. And perhaps the congregation has been your sanctuary as well. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on, the poet Mary Oliver writes. I introduced myself, and we sat in the sanctuary, just the two of us, sharing, consecrating our sanctuary with our human-to-human connection. I reassured her that she wasn't crazy for feeling the overwhelm, that she was simply deeply human. And now more than ever, Amanda Gorman writes, we have every right to be afflicted and affronted. If you're alive, you're afraid. If you're not afraid, then you're not paying attention. After a bit, I offered a guided meditation, and we sat in silence for a while more. And I invited her to stay in our sanctuary for as long as she liked. And then I went back into my office. We need one another when we are in despair, when with encouragement we can try to endure. Now, what this woman didn't know, and what I didn't even know at the time, was how much I too needed my day to be interrupted so that I could connect on a deeply human level to the state of the world and find a little healing in the company of another. After 6 years of political craziness, 2 years of a pandemic, a worsening climate crisis, I understand the weariness that many of us feel. I understand the isolation and despair. I feel it in my bones, the strain that these times have taken on our lives. And it's important for us to create the time and the space to lament, to feel deeply the state of the world, for what we allow ourselves to grieve. For when we allow ourselves to grieve, we are really showing our love. And when we love something, we work to save it. That's all true. That's all happening in our lives and the world. But I'm also ready to tell another part of the story of these times. Side by side, this story of despair is a story of a community rising. This community rising again and again to meet the challenges of their times with a fierce love and compassion. This too is our story. Through our acts of individual kindness, to our deep commitments to justice, we bring hope to the world. I am so glad we are here in this location, in these times. We, the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Since 1979, this congregation has been a beacon of hope, offering one another solace in our moments of grief and despair, lifting up the causes of justice, memorializing one another, celebrating our milestones, and bringing more joy into the world. There's something about the solidity of a long-standing institution, especially when the world around us is so unstable. A place you know you can count on, turn to, and return to. no matter how long you've been away. The story of us contains countless moments like the one I had this fall in the sanctuary. Moments of connecting, of deep sharing and solace. Moments of comforting each other in the loss of our loved ones, our pets, and even our homes. The story of us contains oodles of potluck dinners. Do you remember them? We used to have potlucks together where we laughed together and dreamed together and planned for our future together, played games together and sang together. They nourished us, those times. And even through the pandemic, the story of us contains innumerable covenant group meetings, adult classes, neighborhood connector coffees and book groups and rituals where we explore and deepen our understanding of the world. The story of us is one of nourishing, deepening, connecting. The story of us is a widening circle of compassion. We continue to draw the circle wide through service and justice. Our history includes this: offering sanctuary and medical aid to Salvadoran refugees in the late 1980s, decorating a mitten tree for EFA starting in the late 1980s. That's 40 plus years of mittens for people who are hungry, who are cold in the winter. Raising money to end hunger with the crop walk every year since the 1990s. Volunteering for the Boulder Shelter for the Homeless since about 1995. Supporting Project Yes, a youth organization in Lafayette after we moved to our current location in 2004. Starting UU summer camps, engaging kids from around the community and our congregation since 2006. Organizing with Together Colorado on mental health, children's health insurance, housing, immigration, and more since 2008. Joining with the Sienna Project for an intergenerational service trip to build 2 schools in Guatemala in 2011. Committing to support the I Have a Dream Foundation class financially and through volunteer efforts in 2012 and continuing. Engaging with the Side to Love services on the Capitol steps starting in about 2015. Being part of the immigrant sanctuary movement since 2016. Initiating community-wide conversations about racial justice after our Black Lives Matter banner was stolen in 2016. Joining with the 11th Hour Climate Crisis Group and Green Faith, a national interfaith climate action organization, in about 2020. And joining the NAACP and engaging in focused internal anti-racism work since about 2019. Wow. What a history we have. A history of a community that continues to rise to what's needed. And as I was looking through this history, and I know I'm missing so much, so please, those of you who are thinking, what about that? Please, we can talk about that in the chat maybe. But as I went through this history of connections, what I began to see is not only how much we have mattered to each other and how much our care and love has been individually saving in some situations, but how much we have mattered to the Boulder Valley community. So we've not only been a community of individuals coming together, but we are also a community of communities. This is a phrase that Paula Cole-Jones, she wants us to imagine that, to use this metaphor. Paula Cole-Jones is a UU multicultural consultant. Communities of communities. We can see them within our congregation, the music group, the covenant groups, the justice groups, parents, children, and youth, neighborhood-based communities. And then we can see it with the communities we connect outside of our congregation, so many of them mentioned above. And what happens when we imagine ourselves as a community of communities is that there's lots of opportunities for leadership and growth, lots of possibilities for nourishing and deepening and connecting. And we begin to see the diversity amongst us. Community of communities are vibrant, dynamic, and stable because each person is bringing essential gifts and can find their way into the space that meets them. And each of us is learning about inclusiveness and growing the community. But none is so important that the structure would crumble without them. I am so grateful that we are here in this location, in these times. Stable, hearty, committed, nourishing, deepening, connecting. Last fall, when our pledge team was thinking about the pledge drive theme, we came up with this theme of community rising, not knowing how much we would be needing to be rising still now in February. And our elected leaders chose the words nourish, deepen, and connect to guide us through this coming year. So today we're entering into the time of year when we ask for your financial commitments to sustain this beloved community and help us grow. As you think about your pledge in the coming weeks, I'm going to invite you to reflect upon the value of the fellowship, not only in your life, but as a vital institution in the Boulder Valley. Now, a vast majority of the congregation's income comes from the pledges of members and friends. And following our service, our treasurer, Doug Schmidt, will share some slides so that we can all learn a little bit more about the congregation's finances and the value of your pledge. And during the next 6 weeks, during our pledge drive, each member of the fellowship will be visited by a steward. Now, this is an opportunity to connect with one another, with another member of the congregation, to share stories about your journey, about the congregation's journey, and together how we support each other's collective and individual journeys. I want you to take a moment now and imagine that we're all in the sanctuary in person. That day will come, I'm sure of it. If that were the case, at this moment, I would be calling all of the stewards forward, all 26 of them. But today, instead, you get to see their names on a couple of slides. That's what's going to have to work for us for now. And so I say to you, beloved stewards, thank you. You have been called up from the congregation, invited and entrusted to do this sacred work, to engage in these holy conversations, individual conversations which by design will nourish, deepen, and connect us. Conversations which are countercultural because they are conversations about what matters most to us. Conversations about our loves and our longing to create the world our hearts know is possible. Now, to our members and friends, these are conversations of fellowship and sharing. I invite you to accept a visit, even if you already know what you will pledge, and even if you cannot make a pledge this year for whatever reason. No pledge is too small. There will be no pressure from your steward about the resources you pledge to this congregation, and your steward does not know your pledge. The majority of these visits is simply for us to keep getting to know each other better. Deep friendships have begun in stewardship visits, and casual friendships have deepened. So today we'll covenant as a way to state our best intentions towards one another during this pledge drive. As stewards, we invite you to covenant with the congregation, to listen to congregants' dreams and concerns with open hearts, to keep private what should be private, and to share only that information which you have been asked to share. Members and friends, we ask you to covenant with your stewards and with one another, to make time in your busy lives to accept a stewardship visit, to prepare for the conversation by reflecting on your own resources and the value of the fellowship in your lives, and to support the fellowship in this pledge drive to the best of your ability. This is sacred work. We're going to end our covenant saying the words that are pasted in the chat together. So say them at home, even if it feels a little silly. And together we covenant to enjoy each other's company, to respect each other's ideas, perceptions, and beliefs, and to have a good time while raising funds to ensure the future health of our congregation. Let us journey on together, a community rising to nourish, deepen, and connect. Now, before I end this part, I have great news for you. We've already asked our elected leaders and our stewards to kick off this pledge drive by pledging early. So to track this, we've got a number of different thermometers. There's one on the website, on the pledge page, but here in person, we've created 2 thermometers. There's one with ping pong balls, and this one represents the total dollars pledged to date. Can you see that? So as of today, we have already reached 26% of our goal of $472,000. That's the pledge goal. We've already gotten in pledges 127,000 pledges, dollars in pledges. That's pretty amazing. I wish I could hear a little whoopla from the, from y'all, but I can't right now. So as for the number of pledgers, there's a woot woot I can see on the screen share. As for the number of pledgers, you, my sweets, are going to be represented by, you guessed it, lollipops, because we have an overabundance of them. And so far, over 10% of us have pledged. So we have 23 lollipops in this big vase here that is going to fill up over the course of the pledge drive. 23 households, over 10% of our congregation, have pledged a total of $127,000. Collectively, those folks have increased their pledges by over 7.5%. And we know not everyone can do this. And in fact, a pledge of any amount matters. It brings you in and makes you a part of this congregation in a different way. So if you can, and we are asking if you can, to make an increase of 5% from your pledge of last year. And for those of you like me who may not remember what you pledged last year, there is going to be an amount on a sticky in the brochure you received in the mail. We're trying to make this as easy for everybody as possible. So join me, everyone. Join me in sustaining this incredibly beautiful community that continues to rise and continues to nurture, deepen, and connect. Blessed be.
Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. Today, we will share our plate with the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, of which BVUUF is a member. CIRC is a statewide membership-based coalition of immigrants, labor, interfaith, youth, and ally organizations founded in 2002 to build a unified statewide voice to improve the lives of immigrants and refugees in Colorado and the United States. CERC achieves this mission through nonpartisan civic engagement, public education, and advocacy to win fair, humane, and workable public policies. CERC has become increasingly immigrant-led, has registered tens of thousands of voters, and has supported Ingrid and our Boulder County Sanctuary Coalition, and with our allies, helped pass 13 pro-immigrant bills in the Colorado State Legislature in 2021. CERC greatly appreciates the support that the fellowship has provided over many years for the coalition and immigrants in many ways. CERC was nominated for the half plate by Bob Norris. Please give generously as you so often do. After you have made your gift, please answer in the chat the following question. What drew you into this community and why do you stay? For the work of this fellowship, bringing love, reason, compassion, and justice to this world and to the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, we dedicate our offerings. Thank you.
It's time for our moment of community connection, a time when we share our joys and concerns with one another. So if you have a joy and a concern you'd like to share, please type it into the chat window, sending it to everyone, and briefly let us know what is in your heart today. I'll read aloud what you share and place a rock, one of our stones in our sacred water. If you'd like us to be able to follow up with you, please tell us your full name and where you live. For our pastoral prayer and blessing, we are going to actually have the song "Comfort Me." We're running a couple minutes late, but I don't want to miss it.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Shine with me, shine with me, shine with me, oh my soul. Shine with me, shine with me, shine with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
And I have just a couple of announcements this morning. And then we have an incredibly beautiful video. So please stay through the benediction, it's coming after, through the benediction. It's a video that Tad has put together with your voices in it, including the choir's voices. So we're asking everyone to stay through the video and to stay after the service to learn about our finances in preparation for making your pledge and having your steward visit. And the only other announcement I have is that our COVID response team is meeting on Tuesday. So we will know more about our fellowship's availabilities for meetings and services after that. But we do have a commitment to staying on Zoom for Sunday services through February, because we found that the pivoting is pretty challenging. So we're doing it month by month in terms of Sunday services, but perhaps the other things might shift. And now I invite us to extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
Am I on? This video is a celebration of this community, created by this community. The singing voices you hear are all members of our own fellowship choir. The photos are taken by you and depict not only many of the ways that we work to make the world a more just and equitable place, but also times when we're together just for the sake of being together, having fun, being silly, laughing together. The piece of music we chose to sing is called Rise by Ariane Abela. In many ways, it's a perfect song for us to sing. It specifically details many of the social causes that UUs are involved with. However, it's not a perfect song. It does rely heavily on the use of gender binary language, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters. And also it uses ableist terminology, stand with me, stand up, stand together. So we just hope that you can look past these compromises and still enjoy this little trip down memory lane.
Boulder Valley UU Fellowship is a community that rises when we take part in interfaith actions for social justice. It matters a lot to me that we speak up with our brothers, sisters, and siblings from Muslim, Jewish, Christian, and other UU congregations, and that we involve people of different racial, ethnic, and economic backgrounds. We really live out our UU values when we take part in organizations like Together Colorado and otherwise bring our UU values into the public square. I'm proud to be a community rising with BVUUF.
I will rise with all my daughters. I will rise against my foes. I will rise with all the mothers. I will carry on their woes. I will rise to fight for freedom. I will rise though faced with fears. I will rise against all hatred while my eyes are veiled in tears. I will rise for religious freedom, for a rich diversity. I will rise for all the weary, for each lonely refugee. I will work for all our women who deserve equal pay. I will work for all our children who await a better day. Oh, stand with me. Rise up hand in hand. Oh, stand with me. We will rise to spread love across this bitter land.
I will rise for love and justice, that we may see a better day. I will rise in peace and service for our world in disarray. I will rise with all my brothers for all those who cannot stand. I will rise with all our fathers who have lost a home and land.
I was first inspired to rise to the occasion to give comfort to others as a lay and pastoral care associate. After the Marshall Fire, I was inspired to rise to learn what a fire victim might need.
BVUUF encourages us to rise to be our best selves through caring for each other in our congregation and also the greater community through acts of charity like the Mitten Tree, the Food Bank, helping the Dreamers. Because of our membership in Together Colorado, we keep working on the social justice issues in our state and the nation.
I will rise to build up bridges for this broken world we see. I will tear down walls between us that divide you and me. Brothers, all stand with me. Rise up hand in hand. All stand with me. Rise to spread love across this bitter land.
The fellowship inspires me to rise to the challenge of being a good steward of this beautiful planet that we live on.
I'm inspired to rise when I see our members actively supporting community efforts, BVUUF values in action, when I hear words from the pulpit that make me think in broader, deeper concepts and ideas, examining new viewpoints, I certainly rise.
All stand with me. Rise up hand in hand. All stand with me. Rise to spread love across this bitter land.
There's a song I've known from my Christian tradition of earlier years called Love Lifted Me. I loved this song then and I love it now. It speaks to the experience of rising up, of being lifted up, even when feeling hopeless despair. For me, belonging to our community of fellow travelers who help each other rise up in the search for love, and in learning how to share it by giving it away and receiving it back again. The song was written in 1912 by James Rowe and draws from Matthew 14:22. I was sinking once again, far from the peaceful shore. I felt so deeply stained within, seeking to rise no more. But my you beloveds saw me there and heard my despairing cries. From dismal waters lifted me, and now together we rise. Love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me.